Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Let's Talk Morning Show live. And after we missed 1 week last week, we're back to our regular schedule every Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. here to answer all of your questions. Kevin Kruger's here early this morning. What's up, buddy? Thanks for making it here with us. We know it's early. Oh, Dennis, you did your hair. I just noticed that. You're looking
Yeah,
handsome.
yeah, I wet it a little bit, so as the stream goes on, it's probably gonna, but it
Mm.
is what it is.
I choose to wear a hat so that not everyone could see my beauty in one shot.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that we'd lose a lot of viewers because they pass out at how beautiful you are.
I know all those women fainting like in church, like when all the the teen idols come on. That's like me, but in my 30s.
You aged well.
I could still pull it off. I get on that stage.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
It's also the beginning of spooky season, so just already diving right into it. So today won't be too much spooky season related questions. We have a ton of them. We asked you guys, and we're going to be using those for all the weeks to come. Today we'll finish up on the stuff we were supposed to do last week, like the top 10 most quotable films, and a question from Kevin about some films to rank, and then we'll talk some more stuff at the very end. But clean that up, and we'll dive into spooky season. But are you ready?
I am very ready. Yeah, excited to get to these questions we missed, and very excited about spooky season.
Yeah, did you start yet? Any spooky movies yet?
No, so not yet. I was waiting until I didn't want to get fully into it until we were done with this stuff. Because once I'm in, I'm in.
That's it. You're all in.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. All right, Mr. Smelly Potatoes here. Good morning, buddy. Welcome, welcome. Glad you can make it here, Mr. Smelly, our channel bankroll member. I watched. You ever see Needful Things?
No, I have not.
I watched the 3-hour TV cut of that last night, and that movie, it's great. I'd recommend it if you like Stephen King adaptations. That's a good one.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Speaking of, I'm very excited. Well, I don't know. I'm like 50-50 excited about that new one of his, The Long Walk.
Oh, I'm excited about that too.
I've heard mixed things.
Yeah,
I think primarily because what I've seen, people are knocking the marketing for it because they're doing that whole old school, like, people who watched this heart rate went through the roof and almost died because it was so terrifying. And it's like, okay, it's a Stephen King adaptation, first of all. Let's pump the brakes.
I didn't know what the movie was about. I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw the trailer, and then the trailer was interesting enough where I'm like, oh, are they gonna shoot that guy? Oh shit, they did. And then I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting enough. And I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, is the whole movie on this walk? Like, is it interesting enough to sustain an entire like hour and a half or 2 hour runtime? That's the only thing with it. But I am interested. Lionsgate's doing special screenings where they're removing all the seats from the theater and they set up treadmills and you have to walk at their pace the entire time or you get thrown out.
Now that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. That would make it more scary, like making it interactive like that, basically. Like you said, you can't keep up, you're dead, so you get kicked out of the theater. That's
I
a
think they
cool
should
idea.
honestly fully commit and shoot you. Like if you don't
Dude, imagine the first person that gets shot, everyone else in the theater is like, oh shit.
like literally you're all walking everything and it's like you signed the agreement, right? We can kill you. Like it's only 3 miles an hour. You can do it. Like, yeah, but we can kill you. The first guy does it, like they walk him out and you just hear the lone gunshot, boom, and you just like like,
This, that's the sequel. It's gonna be a movie about people watching the movie getting killed.
just regular people, like they line their bodies out when you walk out. Frank got a little out of hand there. He stopped. Good morning, men
Good
and
morning.
John, motherfucker.
All right, I like that. Starting the day off right.
Starting the day off hot. I'll take the rest of his hair.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
man. Good morning, David. Glad you could be here, buddy, aka Shamrock Ball. So you want to get into the first question first? Where is it? That's not it. That's a previews for the next couple weeks. We'll do this question first. What are the top 10 most quotable movies of all time?
Yeah, we can dive in. And as always, this is a couple that I think are pretty much of all time. And some of these are personal favorites that I think I quote so much regularly. So there are a lot of newer films on here, but they're just so quotable to me that I had to add them on this list.
Yeah, I tried to pick like some of the most famous ones, like because we got to talk about them. But at the end of the day, I was picking movies that I quote all the time. So, like my number 10, like many people might not even think is like a very quotable movie, but I quote it all the time. So I'm like, it's going on the list, and we'll talk about that.
Okay, all right. My number 10, I actually started, and it's funny, it's fresh in my head. There's been a lot of discussion about it. It was back in theaters. You were talking about the box set release, and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, interesting. When you said back in theaters, I thought we might actually have the number 10 the same. But no, yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know you quote that movie that much.
Dude, all the time. Are you kidding? I mean, there's so many. I'm not going to sit here and quote the whole film, but it's one of those movies when you watch it, the pizza scene where he says forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza. When Raph loses his sigh, but I could get it back. I could get it back. I mean, it continues. Pork rind. The whole scene where Donatello and Casey Jones are fixing the truck and they're making fun of each other. He calls them dome head and elf flips and all that stuff. Again, personal favorite. Watch it because I've seen it so many times. It's one that I can sit through and basically quote the whole film. So I had to include it.
No, that's fair. I did the same thing with my number 10, essentially. Like, I picked Batman 89. So that's why I thought when you said like back in theaters, because that's back in theaters too. I'm like, oh, maybe. But yeah, I don't know if a lot of people are going around quoting Batman 89, but I've seen it a million times. I just quoted it this morning to Dennis when I was not Dennis to you, Dennis, to David when I was texting him. I was like, decent people shouldn't live here. They'd be happier somewhere else. Like, there's just quotes like that. Don't go printing this in your papers, Knox. These two slipped on a banana peel. Just ridiculous stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I will give it to you. It's definitely quotable for sure. And like we said, it's one of those personal favors. If I feel like it makes the list because we quote it every day. That's exactly what this list is about.
Yeah, there's just so much stuff in there. Your friends, they're good people. He's talking to a dead body. It's all stuff like that. It's your Uncle Bingo. It's time to pay the check and just slams in. I can quote Batman and then all that's a big one. I mean, the movie still great. I just saw it in theaters again. Still a fantastic film.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it had so many more memorable quotes. Yeah, I guess to be fair, I feel like most people only remember Heath Ledger saying,
Why so
um,
serious? Mm.
yeah, why so serious? Or what did he says like want to see a magic trick or something like that, right? Where he's
Or
got the
how did I
pencil.
get these scars is one that he's always talking about.
Yeah, it's like two or three. He's not quotable. He's just memorable for how he talks the whole time. Jack
Yeah,
Nicholson, I feel like gets a lot of one-liners
he bangs him. Where did he get those toys? Like,
in.
I need a moment alone, boys.
Yeah, his performance, I think it's funny, like a little off track, but I think his performance as Joker gets a little overshadowed now because we've had so many iterations of it since then. And people look back at that, and a lot of it's cartoony. I always think of when he shakes the guy's hand with the thing in his hand, and he literally burns him down to his skeleton. And like it's a little cartoony, but that's what it was. And he pulls it off so well that he's just overlooked because there's so many since him, but he definitely is one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, he's my favorite, but he's got that blend of like he's so dark, but he's a murderer too, and he's so funny at the same time. Like, and he's got the guy's like, what's with that smile? Life's been good to me. And he's like wearing the make he looks terrible and ridiculous, but he's just leaning right into it.
Yeah, no, 100%. But back on track. My number nine is a new film that I actually was very happy to learn that you loved, and that's The Nice Guys.
That is a very quotable film. And I know you said that you and Cody always quote that, so I'm glad that made the list.
Yeah, I just feel like, when we were talking about doing this list, we did mention how it easily could have just been a Billy or not an Adam Sandler and Will Ferrell list because all the movies they came out with super quotable. But I wanted to mix it up. Still, comedy is going to make it there, obviously, because they typically are some of the most quotable films. And
Yeah, I
this
was
one
trying to
is,
think of some non-comedies. It's a lot harder.
yeah, I only have, looking at my list, maybe two,
One,
kind of
two.
three that aren't comedies.
I think I got three non-comedies. Four. One you can say is like maybe four. One's it's a comedy as well, I would say.
Yeah, that's kinda how I feel because 'cause they're just again, they're so quotable. This one, The Nice Guys, is no different. I always go back to the scene where, um, he's soaking wet, and he's like, "Why are you wet?" He's like, "I was interviewing the mermaids." Ridiculous. When Ryan Gosling's character gets home, he's like, "You're supposed to be at, your friend's house." She's like, "My sister has a boy over." He's like, "Your sister's such a slut."
I know.
Like, it's just kinda I don't know, it's not like dry humor, but it's just funny stuff. I really, enjoy it, and again, I go back to it frequently enough that I personally feel if you watch it, you will be quote like 2 or 3 quotes at least will become, regular in your rotation.
Yeah, I mean, did you fall down the hill, Marsh? No.
It's just so funny. So many their dynamic in that movie is great. Just that movie definitely absolutely recommend anyone who hasn't seen it to see it. Because again, it's hilarious and just so easy to quote throughout the day.
Unexpected too. Like the first time I saw the movie, I was like when he broke the window and actually cut his arm and he starts bleeding, and I'm like, oh, is he still gonna go in? But then they hard cut to him in the ambulance. We're losing him.
Yeah, when we first meet him and he's with that little old lady and he's like, "When's the last time you saw him?" And she's like, "Probably the funeral." And then he looks and sees the
Yeah.
urn and he's like, "I'll take the case."
Yeah. Should be simple enough.
Yeah, so just unexpected, but a good one. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is the original Austin Powers, even though you could probably pick them all, but I picked International Man of Mystery because I think that's the one I quote the most.
Yeah, I think that you're right. It's funny because when I think about it being quotable, I do I feel like I mix them all together at
Yeah,
this point.
you could quote them all. I would say that the reason why I picked the first one is like, "Come on, I got a gun in the room. We could shoot him. We can bolt shoot him." Scott, you just don't get it, do you? I'm gonna put them in easily escapable situations and just assume that everything went according to plan. What?
Yeah, I do. I have to give that one credit for sure. Obviously, without that original, we're not going to get, everything that came after it, and it's one of. I feel like that's one of the top spoof, like series, I guess or film series that's out there because really they're all hilarious. But that first one set the groundwork for just kind of how ridiculous the whole thing would be.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly right here. Yeah, baby, yeah. Do I make you horny? Do I make you Randy? Like I was saying that stuff in school and I didn't know what it meant. I shouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah, well, you never know. I mean, it's funny when you look back and think about how old you were when you were watching this stuff when we were kids, because everything is so like protected now, and there was no child safety codes or accounts on the cable box or any of that. It was just whatever the hell was on, and that's what you watched.
Yeah, exactly. It was basically just what it was. Your parents weren't going around scanning it like, oh, we're gonna do a run through first and then we'll let you watch it. It's like, no, okay, enjoy it.
Yeah, you're running around going groovy, babe, and they're like, dude, do you know what that means, you idiot?
No, no idea. No idea. Talking about banging, had no idea. I mean, and he's a little forceful with Elizabeth Hurley. Beautiful at the time, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. But you're right, he was. But that's what I mean when it's
He had to
the
learn
kind of
though, like with the '90s where he didn't know. I love one of the best lines is when he's going through all the stuff. He's like, "And Liberace was gay." He's like, all the women loved him. That's the one he
Oh
couldn't believe. He sees the falling of the Berlin Wall, all these wars ending, but that's the one he gets caught up on.
yeah, that he's like, I can't believe it.
Out of everything.
No, it's a good choice though. I like that. Again, see,
Mhm.
it's a comedy. It's hard to not pick the comedies.
Because you kind of put those in your own like vocabulary, like throughout the day. You start using those words, like like "I'll stay" or like things like that, or "I too like to live dangerously." Just say it randomly at work.
Yeah, no, I do the same thing, and that's I feel like all of them too. Like I know you're talking about the original, but I even like always talk about the one where he's getting his mail,
Mhm.
and they're like one penis enlargement pump, and he's like, oh, that's not mine. And they're like, it's one instruction manual on how to use a penis pump. It's like, oh, that kind of thing's not my bag, baby. And it's like one book. This kind of thing is my bag, baby.
And then he's just like, right, like you can't deny that one. This kind of thing is my bag.
Yeah, those are the ones that I'm like, yeah, all right, this is pretty good.
Yeah. It is a classic. So that's my number 9. What's your number 8?
My number 8, I guess, is not really a comedy, but that's Forrest Gump.
That's makes sense. It's yeah, I guess it's not really some funny moments, but I mean, it gets really sad by the end.
Yeah, I mean, I just everyone knows the life's like a box of chocolates, which, by the way, humongous plot hole. Every box of chocolates you buy literally has a guide in it that tells you exactly what chocolates are located where and what shape they are.
I know
So
that's
you
the
do
moment.
know exactly what you're gonna get.
But don't forget, we learned early in the movie about Forrest's IQ. He might have not known about the map. Like, in his defense.
You're right. You're right. He probably didn't. But even aside from that, I always say something bit me.
And the rain was coming up. There's so much in here. And Our
Yeah,
Life in Horror is here. Good morning. Thank you. And make sure you guys like and subscribe. Our Life in Horror, by the way. Great show as well. Great channel. And yeah, make sure you guys are hitting that like button. That really does help this live stream to get more notice. I'm not somebody who usually promotes that. I don't like to bother you guys, but hitting that like button really does help us out.
yeah. Help John out so he can get big enough to kick me off the show.
Yeah, we've been looking for a replacement ever since the Godfather incident.
I didn't want to bring that up.
His mama told him that. That's one I use. Your mama sure does care about your education, boy.
Oh my god, yeah, that's what I mean. There's so much on there. It's great. Mr. Smelly Potato Role Models is also hilarious. I quote that. That should have actually made my list. I'm gonna put that in at 8A because that is also I I quote that regularly. Um, the one line from Paul Rudd in that one where he's like, "You think you had a bad afternoon? I
Oh
just spent the entire afternoon in Middle Earth with Gleep
my.
Clop and the Fluky Doos."
And he says that right in front of the kid too.
Yeah, and it, and then it's like they're like, "Ronnie, calm down," and he's like, "I ain't gonna calm down. He's trying to grab my hang down."
They're like, "Oh, that's just what he does."
Yeah.
You
Oh
do
man, it's
every time I see Sean William Scott, I think you kind of look like a poor man's Sean William Scott in a lot of ways.
thank you so much. Oh
Mhm.
my god, I'll
Well,
take that. I mean, it's true. I am poor, so it works.
do I look like a Paul man's Paul Rudd?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a couple differences, but yep, 100%.
We're both handsome, like obviously.
That's it. You're both funny, so you got that.
Oh man, role models is such a good. That's a good call. That's another one I should have. Just him and it's surprising that they have such good chemistry. Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott. They play off each other perfectly.
Yeah, I also always quote the thing where I can't remember her name, but the head woman in it when she's like, "You know what I had for breakfast? Cocaine. You know what I
Oh,
had for lunch? Cocaine."
oh,
And Paul Rudd's like, "What did you have for dinner? Was it cocaine?"
oh yeah, she is great. She's always popping up in those comedies. I love her in this movie too. She is
Yeah.
very funny. What's her name? She's in 40
She's
Year
the
Old
boss in
Virgin.
40-Year-Old Virgin too, right?
Yeah, she's in that, and she's in
Yeah.
Talladega Nights, I think, too.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, but she's always great. John Billy Scott. I don't think that's his name because it's a
Jane
girl.
Lynch.
Jane Lynch. She's great.
Yeah, she is because she plays her role so good where she's like dead serious and she's like, "So I'm gonna use my fly swatters to swat away the flies that are your BS."
She's not putting up with it.
No. And then the the
That's
running
it.
joke about it being like, play some Wings. Love, take me down to She's like, "That's not the Wings. Nobody plays that song." Yeah, that's a good call, Mr. Smelly Potato. I love that one.
That is a good one. I love that. That is a good one. I always think of the scene when in Starbucks every time I'm in Starbucks because it's so true. Like, like why can't you just have regular sizes?
Yeah, it's like actually venti means 20. Grande means large. Tall means large. So congratulations. You're stupid in 3 languages.
It's just I can't look past that either. I agree.
Oh
Sean
man.
Willie Scott equals John Billy Scott.
Nice. There you go.
Oh, all right. I like that.
All right. So that was my 8 was Forrest Gump / role models. Thank you for the contribution. How about you?
All right, so mine, not necessarily a movie I always quote, but it is one of the most quotable movies all the time because I actually knew all the quotes before I saw the film, and that's Casablanca.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't put that on my list, but yeah, I feel like at this point there's a lot of people who, like you said, might not even really know the film, but they know the bigger quotes from it.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's to looking at you, kid. We'll always have Paris, and this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Like, all that comes right from this movie. And like, I'm pretty sure I saw most of those quotes first on Rugrats. Then, to when I went back and saw Casablanca, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I knew of it, and then you watch the movie. The movie itself is fantastic. There's a reason why everyone still quotes it, but those quotes now, like for somebody who like knew him before, they like stand out. Like you're like, every time you hear them, even though this is where they started.
Yeah, I feel like they I was just gonna say it's funny you bring up Rugrats. I feel like this is quoted in everything. There's always cartoons and sitcoms and other movies that will have either scenes or episodes that are devoted to kind of almost spoofing it, where they're quoting it constantly. And like you said, there's all those lines. Here's looking at you, kid. There's also, the one of all the gin joints in all the towns.
Yeah. Why she
Um,
have to walk into mine?
yeah, there's plenty to it. So I agree. It's not one that you walk around and quote to your friends every single day, but it's one that I feel like 99% of people they'll know the quotes even if they don't realize it's from that movie. They know the quotes because they've heard them.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. You know exactly where these quotes came from, and then you'll just eventually catch up to the film when you get older because it's not a kids movie. So even though you can see all those quotes in like kids films and stuff like that, it is not a kids movie. It's dealing with World War II and a lot of those kinds of issues. But it came out in the 40s. It's great. Looks beautiful. I can recommend it.
I hope you can, because it's a very, very good movie. Obviously, super quotable. Because I think that's one of those ones that is all time. Some of these ones are personal preference because we quote them all the time. That's an all time one because, like we said, even people who don't know the movie, haven't seen the movie, they know those quotes because it's so iconic.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those movies, and that's why I felt like it needed a place on the list. Even though I love Casablanca, I watch it every couple of years. I just felt like it had to be in there. Who's this here today? Oh, Van Gogh. Hello, everyone. What's up, buddy?
Good
I hope
morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
did I say that wrong, Dennis? Did I pronounce it wrong?
It's Ghoul.
Okay.
So
Yep. So the answer was yes, I did.
you were close. It's a play on Van Gogh, Van Ghoul, which is actually a really cool name. But it's okay. Well, we have reading lessons after the live show. I sit down with John. We read things like Redfish, Bluefish, Cat in a Hat, stuff like that, where he can really try to learn what words are.
It's a hard language to tackle. They say the English language is one of the hardest to learn, even though it's my main language and only language. I'm working on it. I'm getting there.
Yeah, you're trying. Listen, you're progressing. You got Van right. That
Yeah,
was impressive.
it's the way they combined without the space that throws me off.
Oh man. All right, so that was your 8, right?
Yep.
All right, so my 7 is one from when we were growing up, and that is Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, yeah, that is a very quotable movie.
Yeah, I feel like they almost just wrote it as a series of one-liners. There's everyone always, I feel like as soon as it came out, everyone was yelling in the hallways of school, "Tina, you fat lard, come get some dinner." This made tots popular for a minute again.
They really did. That's the crazy thing. Tater tots actually came back into existence.
Yeah, it was like crazy. There's I see you drinking 1%. Is that because you think you're fat? Because they have so many in there. How much you want to bet I could throw a football over those mountains?
That's a big
Uh,
one that I always heard quoting, especially if you were playing football. Want to see me throw this one over the mountains?
yeah, and then he's like, it's called Rex Kwon Do. So it's like they have all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's even the meme of the one character going like, so it's everyone knows it.
Vote for
Um,
Pedro became a thing too from this movie.
Yeah, I mean, the shirts were, I mean, that had to be the biggest selling shirt of that year because I feel like everyone bought a Vote for Pedro shirt.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I
it's,
always say go make a dang quesadilla.
yeah, see?
Yeah, that was a moment in time when this movie came out. It was very quotable, and you're right. Everybody just kind of started like going with the vote for Pedro thing became a whole. I mean, you still 20 years later still see vote for Pedro shirts.
Yeah. So that's, I feel like it had to be on the list because it was huge. And it's one of those ones that everybody knows the quotes from it. And I mean, did it have large talent? See, everyone knows. There's quotes from it. I mean, if it came out today, I don't know that it'd be as successful. It was definitely one of those flash in the pans. It came out. I think it was divisive too. A lot of people said it was so stupid that they hated it. But if you liked it, you quote it almost every day. So it had to be on this list.
I mean, I don't ever really think about the plot to Napoleon Dynamite. I more think about the quotes and like the ridiculous clothes that people are wearing, like the Winnebago. All that's the stuff I think about that movie.
Yeah, 100%. But again, super quotable. Everyone knows at least one or two from it. So had to add it to the list.
More than fair. My next one's a slight cheat because like we said, we quote mostly comedies, and I wanted to like spread the love a little bit. So I'm like, I got to put an Arnold movie on the list. But I'm like, which one? So I decided, okay, I'll just put both Terminator 1 and 2 because I think that's where his most famous lines came out of, were from those two movies.
You're playing pretty fast and loose with these rules. First, there's the sequel list where you pick like every one on your list was episode 6 or 9 in the secret series. Now, two films in one. Yeah,
well, Ben Rondo definitely noticed because he said right here, movies with a direct sequel because
yeah, because he saw you take the word sequel and make it to mean anything in the series. If the title matched, I'm putting it.
yeah, I like to take some liberties, like I always like to go. Speaking of quotes and Adam Sandler, I always like to go to the quote from The Wedding Singer, where the whole crowd's getting mad at him because he's all upset about being breaking up with his girlfriend, and he's like just singing terribly, and the guy's getting mad, like, "What am I paying for?" He's like, "Listen, sir, I will choke you with my microphone with the wire," and then he's like, finally, he's like, "Well, I'm the one with the microphone, so you'll listen to every word I have to say." And that's how I approach my top 10 list.
Yeah, well, for everyone out there, I try to follow the rules as strictly as I possibly can. John, on the other hand, doesn't care about the rules.
Well, because if I just pick Terminator, I got I'll Be Back, and then obviously everything that Kyle Reese says, come with me if you want to live. But Terminator 2, then, that opens the door to like Hasta La Vista, baby. Were people not saying that before Terminator 2?
That's true. I will give you that. There's also the one scene I always think about where he's on the phone. He's like, "Oh, is that Mitzi in the background?" And they're like, "Yeah, Mitzi's fine." And they're like, he gets back, he's like, "Parents are dead."
Your foster parents are dead. Like that's it. Well, he has no emotions, he has no empathy, so he doesn't care. He's just stating the fact.
Yeah. No, but you're right. I will say, given that Terminator 2 brought Hasta La Vista, baby, I will accept the fact, so you don't strangle me with your microphone wire, that you put 2 movies in 1 slot.
I will do it too. It's a thin wire though. You might rip through. I don't know. Your neck's fat enough. It'll work. I'll make it
Yeah.
work.
How crazy would people like how people would react if actually all of a sudden your hands come through the screen and then they realize we're sitting next to each other?
Like, how funny would that actually be? Like, I'm sure it's been done on a live stream before where people are filming in separate rooms and someone just comes in the other room and starts doing something to the other one.
Maybe one day. That'll be a special episode.
Just walk up behind you because honestly, with the way the background is, they would only see my hands come in with the wire.
And then all of a sudden you sprint back just out of breath and sweaty, like, Dennis will be joining us next week, maybe. I'm gonna continue without him.
Maybe, or we're finally getting that new co-host who wants the second chair.
But yeah, I get why you put both of them. I think this is kind of like Austin Powers. Had you just said all of the Austin Powers, just like this one, 1 and 2, because I do feel like a lot of people probably don't even realize, there are probably people out there who are like, "Oh yeah, Terminator 1, Hasta La Vista," and you have to be like, "Well, actually."
No,
So I get it.
T2's probably got actually the more quotable lines when you think about it because they're trying to be more of a blockbuster. Like, she's not my mom, Todd, like all that stuff, or piece of cake, like, all those Eddie Furlong lines you can quote. And like in the first one, there's a bunch, but it's more like for the fans. Like I used to go around, I always thought it was funny to mess with people and say, like, what's the date? And then go, no, the year. What's the year? And they're always like, what?
Yeah, no, I can see that. That's pretty good. I think you're right though that they purposefully. I mean, that's the difference between the two. The first one was made more like an art piece kind of film, and the second one was definitely blockbuster. Hollywood gave us the money to make this bad boy as crazy as we can, and they clearly went all in on it. So I get it.
Money, 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 baby. Money.
That's it. That's it.
Mhm.
My number 6 now is another, I guess not super recent one, but again, comedy, unfortunately. I guess kind of a horror movie. It is Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, that's a good one. That's actually I'm noticing you're a big Shaun of the Dead fan, actually.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best spoof films out there. I just think it's so funny. And I know we talked about it, and I think you actually said out of all their work that Hot Fuzz was your favorite from them.
Yeah, I prefer Hot Fuzz. Obviously, like they're all kind of spoofs of a certain genre. Obviously, Shaun of the Dead's making fun of the classic zombie films, but I like Hot Fuzz for making fun of the action genre. I just personally think that more in my wheelhouse than Shaun of the Dead, but I don't fault anyone for liking Shaun of the Dead more. I would say probably more people do.
Yeah, I think it's again a personal choice where I feel like I quote it all the time. Like I'm constantly just saying, "Guess we're gonna have to take the Jag," for no reason.
Like you
It's
got
just
a jag outside.
yeah, like anyone I know has a Jaguar outside. Like no one does, but I quote it anyway. Yeah, when they're all dancing in the morning, and he's like, "It's 4 in the fucking morning." Quote that one too. There's a lot from this one that's just, I always think about the voicemails. Hello, that they say hi on all of them in the movie. So I just feel like personally, it's a favorite to quote of mine. So I had to again personal flavor added to the list, but again, kind of feel like we're cheating because it's this list is heavily comedy so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be. I just think it's funnier to quote comedies. Like, it's just you when you're quoting something, it's like you're not gonna be out in the real world quoting Ghost. Like you can quote some stuff from Ghost, but for the most part, like it's more of a sad movie. You're just not gonna be out there doing that. Now, Roadhouse, I used to fuck guys like you in prison. Now you could just throw that around anywhere.
I mean, I still can't believe it. After rewatching it, I can't believe that would and it's a serious line. No one laughs.
No,
They
no, he's got him in a
confidently do it.
chokehold. He's dead serious about that. Like he's like, like you're such a weak man that I used to take advantage of guys like you in prison. It's like, and he's throwing it around, and like no one else is around, like going like what? Like it's not like in like don't be a menace in South Central. Like when he's like, you know, he's, what's the line that he says? You ever watch the suds go down a man's ass crack, and they're all like, what? Like all like, and he's like, oh, I'm just kidding with you guys. I'm just kidding with you guys.
Yeah, yeah, but he said, dude, because I'm thinking like he said, because I was thinking that like in it's a Happy Gilmore, right? Where he's like, I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast, and they call him out for it. They're like, you eat pieces of shit, and
Like,
then he's
yeah,
like,
because no one they don't
don't.
expect people to like ever respond to things like that.
Yeah, but yeah, Mr. Smelly Potato, I agree that it's not. I don't actually view it as a spoon. Like I don't put it in that category. I only did because we did a list about it and stuff. But I just kind of view it as its own standalone kind of thing.
Okay,
Um,
that's my wife, Faith. You guys are sick. Left my Faith. You better be hitting that like button. That's speaking of somebody in the other room. Hit.
yeah, seriously, Faith, let's go. Wait, either hit the like button or run in the room and punch John right now.
Don't. She'll do it. I heard the
Uh,
rumor. Speaking of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, Van Gool was that apparently they're talking about getting together for one last film, like with Eric Wright, to do it one more time.
I would look forward to that. I like everything they've done so far. So
Yeah, they've
that
kind
being
of gone their separate ways. All that whole team that did the original three movies, making their own movies, everything like that. I mean, Simon Pegg's everywhere. He's in the Mission Impossibles.
yeah,
Nick
yeah. I mean,
Frost
they've
about
done
to be
good.
Haggard. Or
Yeah, Hagrid, right?
Haggard. I'll get it right eventually. Yeah, he's about to be Haggard.
Read those books, John.
I actually, believe it or not, despite liking the Harry Potter films, have never read the Harry Potter books. I also didn't like the films when I was a kid. That was something I learned to like because of Faith.
I gotta be honest with you. I actually still haven't seen all of them. I've only seen the first two, and then kind of just fell off. I am a person who gets fatigue with movies, where like that's why I don't really know anything going on in the superhero realm because after like the 67th Marvel movie, I was kind of just like, I'm good. I can't really go through this anymore because then you look and it's like, all right, I've already watched 67 of them, and there's still 167 left to come. I'm never gonna make it.
Well, this is like kind of like what I mean. I guess we talked about this a little bit on our show. Flashback films, are they still fun? we used to have less options back in the day. Now they give you so many options. They want you to be completely invested in one thing, and they want you to like to be obsessed with Marvel. That's why they have the MCU shows. I'm like, I like a bunch of different things. I can't just be fully committed to this. That's why when it was just the movies, it was fine. It was like 2-3 times a year. You kind of caught up, rewatched a little bit, but then it's like, oh well, make sure you watch these 2 series and these 3 movies before you go in to watch this movie. It's like, I want to go to the fucking movies and see a movie right now. Like that's it. And like it's like you try and make us all obsessed with one thing, and it's like I want to like a bunch of different things and go into it like that.
Yeah, and I think even Star Wars is falling into that now, right? Like if you look up the correct order to watch Star Wars, it's like you have to watch the first, and then you have to watch the Clone Wars, and then the second, and then you have to watch the newest one that came out because that's a prequel to the fourth one, and then you can watch the sixth one. And it's like you have to watch so much, and then there's the TV shows, the Mandalorian shows, and all that stuff, and like there's so much you have to watch to know what's going on because it's all intertwined. That
Yeah.
I'm very much like a standalone movie. Like that's why I'm okay with, like Friday the 13th has a lot of films, but it's one, and then you have a little bit, and then one, and you have a little, like it's
And you
same
don't
like
gotta do homework for Friday the 13th. You could just put on a Friday the 13th.
you can pick any of them. You can start with your favorite Jason Goes to Hell, and you would not know that you missed anything.
Jason Goes to Hell is a classic. Jason Lives is the best, but Jason Goes to Hell is right on its coattails. I gotta be honest. If I'm picking 2 for the spooky season, those are the 2 you watch.
Yeah, because you're a monster. You're also gonna pick Season of the Witch.
Yeah, if you want to watch the best Halloween film, why not?
Oh, we'll have plenty of discussions about that.
All right. What are we up to, by the way, on this
That
list?
was my 6.
That was your 6. So my 6 is The Other Guys.
Nice.
I felt like this might be a reach. I realized that not everybody loves The Other Guys, but when this movie came out, and to this very day, I quote this movie so much, like just the little lines. Michael Keaton is great in this movie. Hey guys, you here for the bath mats? Him working at Bed Bath and Beyond. Even the deleted scenes where he's like, going through the whole routine, they cut some stuff, and he's like, it's Bed, Bath, and kind of Beyond, not Bed, Bath, and way the fuck out there. Like it's Bed, Bath. Kind of Beyond, like we got to be we got to tighten this up,
Yeah, I think about when he's at Bed Bath & Beyond. He's like, all right, and there's a rapist roaming around Central Park. Oh, sorry guys, that's my other job.
Like ignore that. Unless you live near there, then walk in pairs. Like,
yeah, he's really great. I also and the fact that he's quoting TLC songs, like, oh, listen guys, just don't go chasing waterfalls. They're like, are you doing this on purpose?
Like, I don't get the reference. Get out of here. I can't believe it. But even just him and Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg's chemistry is insane. Like, when was the last time you did your last desk pop? And he's like, September 08, and then he fires the gun in the office. One guy shot an office, and one guy shot Derek Jeter.
I'm a peacock cat. You gotta let me fly.
Let's just settle this right now, Terry. Peacocks don't fly, and then he's like, they fly a little. Like, yeah, if they get like a running start.
I also think it's funny when he talks. I always quote the Gator stuff. Like, Gator needs his cat.
Gator, and he's like, yeah, that's my very plain wife, and it's literally one of the most beautiful women in the world. He's just ripping on her. You come in here dressed like a hobo. It looks like Scarface sneezed on your car. Does this thing come with the dental dam?
Yeah, guys. So we cleaned it up, but looks like a bunch of homeless guys had an orgy in there. They call that a soup kitchen.
Yes, they actually left you a note. I actually have the T-shirt that says it. Thanks for the F Shack. Love Dirty Mike and the boys. Dirty Mike.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. I almost put that one on here. But again, for my list, I tried to not put all Will Ferrell movies. So I did pick one other one, but that is a really good one.
I had to go with 2. I think we probably have the same one but I was like, I quote, literally, this is probably one of the movies I quote the most that I couldn't leave it off the list. There's so many lines in this movie that I like, with the water, with the cucumbers, or like, you guys, so how was Jersey Boys? Was it good? No. It was great. You totally undersold it.
Yeah. And then they come back and he's like, can we get 2 cucumber water? Like, no more water. I was very much looking forward to the water boy.
Oh, the bad cop routine. He's like, when I saw you doing bad cop, I knew I had to go a little further than that. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, we were doing bad cop, bad cop. No, we were doing good cop, bad cop. He's like, that's where the confusion was.
Yeah, I probably should have picked this one because now that we're quoting it to each other, it is a very good choice.
Oh my god. I know what you're thinking. Because of the beard, I must be hairy. Shaved.
I always think too when he's running, they parked and they hear the yelling and they're like, "That can't be him. We drove like 15 miles.
You come back to my house and you fuck my wife.
Holy shit, it's him! Start the car."
Yeah, that was like 20 miles.
Yeah, a good choice. I like that one.
Yeah, I had to pick it just because of the amount of quotes.
Yeah. So that's my five, which brings us to my only Adam Sandler choice. Which this one I picked because you could pick any. Listen, I quote a lot of them. 51st Dates is one I quote a lot. Obviously, Big Daddy and all those, but I did go with one that I watched the most as a kid, which is Billy Madison.
Oh, okay. Billy Madison is a great one. Did I put that on my list? I did not. Actually, I don't think I put any Adam Sandler ones, which is weird because I remember making the list and trying to be like, I only gonna put one on here. I think I accidentally didn't put any.
I mean, you could Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy, Waterboy, 51st. He's got so many. The Wedding Singer, all quotable. Billy Madison is just the one that I watch the most. And I feel like there's just so much, when he's driving the car, Nudie Magazine Day, Nudie Magazine Day.
Is that it, Daddy? Did the penguin tell you to do this?
When he's in the tub, he's like, "Stop looking at me, Swan." All the
Actually,
time.
I got this shirt from Frank, and then he lifts it up and it says Frank.
See, when he goes back to the teacher's house and he's walking in and he sees the penguin upstairs, he's like, "Oh, so sorry to interrupt."
Proceed.
I also always underrated quote when they put the the bag of dog crap on the guy's door, and he's like, "Call the fire department. This one's out of control."
He called the shit poop.
And you hear the guy's wife, "Don't put it out with your boots, Dan."
Don't tell me what to do, devil woman.
Yeah, then "It's poop again."
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that movie does everything with Eric. I mean, you remember the second grade spelling bee? Rock, ROK. Yeah, so ROCK. The C is silent.
I always also quote when he's doing the script and she says risotto and he goes halfway up and he doesn't have the Z, so he just squiggles. And she's like, "Rarudo? Those are Z's."
I hate you, and I hate school. I'm never coming back again.
And when he grabs the kid's face too, "Don't you say that. You stay here as long as you can. You cherish it."
Actually, that one gets realer as you get older. You don't realize it's true.
Yeah.
Don't you ever say it. I want to grab every kid when they say they can't wait to go to high school or be an adult. You don't even know it's out there yet. Enjoy this.
And then I also always quote the old lady at the field trip when she's like, "What are horseshoes? Do horses wear socks? Is anybody listening to me?"
And nobody is listening to What
Yeah,
is that place? Is that just some old farm? Is that why she's dressed like that? I get they're going on a field trip somewhere, but what the hell do they do there?
yeah, I imagine it's supposed to be to show you historical living when you were like a pilgrim or something, because she is odd. And then they all eat the lunch. Who stole the lunch? Or who would steal 30 bag of lunches? I'll tell you who. That damn Sasquatch.
Oh, that Veronica Vaughn is one hot piece of ace. I know from
Yeah.
experience, bro. No, you don't.
No, I don't.
No, I don't. But a guy I know, him and her got it on. Woo-wee! No, they didn't. No, they didn't. But you can imagine if they did, and he's just like, all right.
Yeah. He was underrated in his role there. Remember, he's answering the questions, and every time he gets it right, he undresses, and he's there, and he spells it right, and he's like, "That is correct."
I mean, the amount of times I've taken my shirt off and done that to Faith is absolutely absurd. She knows.
Yeah, she's here watching right now, having flashbacks.
I'll take my shirt off. Don't tempt me.
All right. Well, before we get too far, that was my number 5.
All right, that was your 5. My 5 is a movie you insulted last week or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. I have the original Godfather because I do quote. Oh, look, David has it right really high as well on his list. So I see Godfather Part 1 and Part 2 right there. I think the first one's probably the most quotable. You don't come to Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like that. You never go against the family. Remember that. There's so many things. Obviously, one of the most you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding and to ask me for a favor, you know. But I always like the one like I think of the one guy, I forget what his name is, the movie producer, movie director, and when they're there and Robert Duvall's talking to him, and he's like, I'm actually not Italian. And he's like, I'm Irish, German. He's like, well, excuse me, my Mick Kraut friend.
That's pretty good. All right, I'll give you that. That's a pretty good line.
Yeah, this part was perfect for Johnny Fontaine. It's perfect for his guinea olive oil skin, but he will never get it. You know why? Because he ruined one of my best girls. Got her addicted to heroin, and for that, he'll never get that part. I love that movie, man. I'll quote it forever.
My God, listen, you're trying to get me in trouble here, right? I thought we were past this already.
We'll never be past this. We'll never be. Oh, a good list, by the way, David. Some of these I didn't put the Mask on my list, which is a shame. I probably should have. I didn't put Predator because I picked T1, and Wayne's World's a good one. I do quote that one a lot.
That is good. There's a couple on there that are coming up actually on my list. So,
oh, don't want to spoil it then.
No, sir. One of them actually is coming up right now.
Ooh, what is that?
Number 4 is Pulp Fiction.
Oh, that's a punt.
All right, perfect.
All right, my number 4 is another classic one. I don't necessarily quote this unless I'm talking about the actual movie with people, but the original Airplane from 1980. You know, it's a classic. It just because like this is the one that made Leslie Nielsen a household name. Like he shifted the comedy and like the one that probably gets quoted the most is I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue, or I picked now it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Like the escalation of like all the stuff he keeps quitting to the point where he's just fucking high as hell.
Yeah. I mean, it also is Surely You Can't Be Serious.
Yeah.
That one.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Yeah. So that one's good. So I agree with you. This is a classic one that even if you don't go back and rewatch it, people, just like we said about Casablanca, people will probably quote this without even realizing what they're quoting.
Yeah, like, you know, I speak jive. Like, that's a big one from this movie. The old lady starts jumping in there, or the other one, like, so you like gladiator films? Talking to the kid, which a joke that like, my God, I can't believe they even did that then because that would not even work now. Surely Airplane would be on your list. It has to be.
Yeah. No, and then there's also when he's talking, he answers I forget what the question was, but he's like, a hospital? What is it? And he's like, a big building with patients, but that's not important right now.
That's not important right now. Everything Leslie Nielsen was doing in this movie was perfect.
Yeah, no, he killed it. I agree with you. Like I said, even if people haven't seen the movie, they definitely quote this in their life because it's just it's too quotable. Everything he does in this film is a hilarious one-liner.
Yeah, 100%. And then even if you listen to the voices like on like the intercoms, like you know how it's like no parking in the blue zone, and then like you hear the two voices like arguing with each other, the two intercom people, like it's just in the background, nobody even brings it up. I love jokes like that are just going on in the background. Like, you have to actually like pay attention to actually get the joke.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. That is funny. That's a good choice. Good classic choice on the list. I appreciate that.
I try. So what's your number 3?
Number 3, I might get some heat for, but this is one I feel like if you were born in our generation, this movie was gigantic. Everyone saw it, and I don't care who you are. You might say that you're the biggest film snob ever. This movie is hilarious, and that is Mean Girls.
You know, almost put it on my list, but I understand why it's on your list. That was a close cut, so it's not. And I think you said because Brittany likes this movie a lot.
She does, and I mean, listen, I'll admit it too. I don't care. I think it's hilarious, and I quote this all the time. You know, and whenever someone says something to me, I will say, I don't think my father, the inventor of the toaster strudel, would appreciate that. What?
I know, like, wow, you're right. What an honorable man who's done so much for society. You're right. He probably wouldn't appreciate that.
Yeah. I think about the last scene when they're all doing the speeches and the one girl's crying about, I wish we could all be friends and whatever. And then the one character he just yells out, she doesn't even go here.
And then he's like, oh, yeah, I mean, everything Tim Meadows is doing. I will keep you here all night. We can only keep him till 4. I will keep you here until 4.
When his assistant runs in the principal's office, the girls, the girls have gone wild. He walks out with a baseball bat and he's
I
looking around at them. He's like, what the?
know. Like, what could it actually be going on?
Yeah, I just think it's so funny. I also when he's handing out the candy canes and he's like, "4 for you, Glen Coco. Good for you, Glen. Or you go, Glen Coco." And he's like, "And none for Gretchen Wieners," and just runs out of the classroom.
Right.
So
That's a
yeah,
classic one.
I felt like it had to be on here because I feel like for our time frame, like when our age group, this movie was huge. Everyone saw it, everyone quoted it, and like I said, there's still lines in this that I quote to this day that are just hilarious.
Yeah, it's very quotable. I use it every once in a while out in the rotation. That's why it just missed my list. I was like, should I put it on? Like that was fighting with Batman 89, like for that last spot. Like, where does this go? But my heart picked it in the end.
I get you, I get you. But what was your number three?
My number 3 is my other Will Ferrell choice, and that's Anchorman.
That is a punt.
Okay, so I know where that lands. What's
Yep.
your number 2?
Number two is Jaws.
Oh, okay. Where did that end up on my list? Wow, I accidentally left that off.
Wow.
That was gonna be number 4 though. But it didn't end up because I backspaced it. But Jaws is a great one, obviously.
Yeah, I feel like everyone knows the whole, need a bigger boat thing, but there's so much more on there, like, I wonder what kind of shark it is. And he's like, tiger shark. And the guy goes, oh, what? Like,
What?
yeah.
You're all gonna die. They're all gonna die. Like that's a good one too. When Richard Dreyfuss is walking away.
Oh, yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll deal with it later. All right. And he's like, haha, you're all going to die.
Dummy. He doesn't have any sympathy. Yeah, this movie, I mean, it's filled with quotes top to bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. And he talks about, like, I don't want to be, performing a half ass autopsy on a fish and that little Kittner boy spill out all over the dock. Like, shit like that. We better catch something. This is my wife's holiday roast.
Yeah, this is obviously Jaws can make every list because it is one of the greatest films of all time, but it is very, very quotable. I mean, you can quote everything that Quint is saying throughout the entire movie, even in his his voice. It's a classic voice, but if you say it in his voice, it just comes out even better.
Yeah. I always think about the one scene when he's looking down from the crow's nest and he says, Hoopa drives the boat, chief. It's like not a memorable one, but for some reason I always think of that quote. So there's always I also sing that song, the Show Me the Way to Go Home song when they're drinking at night after they share their stories and everything. So I just feel like even aside from the famous ones, the smile you son of a bitch and all that, like
That's my
there's
personal favorite.
yeah, there's a lot of other ones in here too though. So I feel like it has to be on the list. And I put it at 2 only because my number one, as now you know what it is. It's just the whole freaking movie's quotable.
Yeah, I mean, this probably gave birth to the most famous quote of all time. We're gonna need a bigger vote. I don't know if it's the most quotable line of all time. I don't have the word paperwork in front of me, but if I had to guess, because I guess gets used around like in anybody at work, like when things are getting out of hand, like if the place is too full, we're gonna need a bigger boat. Like it's just thrown around to just to the umpteenth degree at this point, 50 years later.
Yeah, 100%. And if not for any other reason, for that it has to be here.
Yeah, that's one exactly, just like Airplane and Casablanca. Like you can know the quotes without actually seeing the movie. Like there's so much in Jaws, like you don't have to see Jaws to know it. But I think at this point, everyone's seen Jaws. It made $8.1 million on its re-release this weekend, so people are going out to see it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure people are going out to see it more than once.
Yeah, which is awesome. Which again, I think that's the future of theaters. Is just all these re-releases. People are happier to go see the old movies than they are to go see the new ones.
Yeah, let that be a lesson, Hollywood. You suck right now.
I know. Yeah, you got to get better. The way that people reacted to Batman 89 in the theater warmed my heart.
So that brings us to your number 2, I believe.
Yep. No Jaws the Revenge on your list. 2 Bahama Mamas, please. No, unfortunately. Want to get drunk and
No,
f around. That is a good line from Jaws.
yeah, yeah, but no, the Revenge did not make my list. I apologize.
Well, my number 2 is Dumb and Dumber. Oh, wait, we didn't do my 3, right? Oh, no, we're up to my 2 now. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So my number 2 is Dumb and Dumber, which is one of my most quoted movies of all time, obviously.
Yeah, I feel like I knew this was coming on your list because I feel like it's also just in like your top 5 movies. I feel it's the one of your favorites, and I understand why.
It's my all-time favorite comedy. Yeah, so for probably because of the amount of times I've seen it, I can just play this movie back in my head. I don't need to quote it. I mean, like I don't need to actually watch the movie to know exactly what's going on. Yeah, fell off the jetway again today. Like that's a normal thing to happen at work. There's not a job in this town. Not a nothing. Zip zilch. Yeah, unless you want to work 40 hours a week. Like lines like that just throughout the entire movie. He blamed me. Those were his last words, like, because he called him a bitch. You bitch. He called him a son of a bitch. He knows that his mom's a bitch. Who's the
Oh,
dead man who threw the salt shaker?
yeah, I always think of the one just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
You go and do
You
something like this and totally redeem yourself.
classic.
What are these?
Absolutely.
What are these? Those are IOUs, sir. They're just as good as money. Here's one for a car. 250,000. Might want to hold on to that. You're a dead man. Like, of course.
Oh my god, we talked about this recently, and all the quotes are so funny because of the way they deliver them. Because they like so believe it that that IOU is actually worth that.
Yeah, I mean, even when they're looking for the name and they're like Simmy, Sammy, Swimmy, Sammy, Swanson, and they get it right. And then like maybe it's on the briefcase and they're like, oh, yep, Samsonite. And they're like, oh yeah, I was way off. Yeah. Which is a joke as a kid you didn't get, and then you realize Samsonite makes safes. So okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's so fucking stupid. Look at the butt on that one. Yeah, he must work out.
Oh man, no, that was funny. What did David say?
He said, I was there watching Sunday, watching Jaws. Next week, my local theater's playing Alien and Pulp Fiction. See, they're getting better with these classic releases.
Yeah, I think that you're right saying that that's the future of film. I think that obviously it's doing well because I feel like people who are film fans like us are having a hard time with a lot of the new stuff that comes out. There's not a lot that competes here. I even just watched a video earlier this morning about upcoming horror releases the rest of the year. It's not
And
really a ton that I'm like super excited about.
no, there used to be a time where you go to the theater and there's like 4 or 5 movies playing. Like I was like, oh, I want to do a review for next week. Let me see what's playing, like as far as new movies. And I'm like, I just want to see the old ones. There's nothing that really like I'm like desperate to see, except for like the highest to lowest is coming to Apple. So that's what I'll end up watching and reviewing. But yeah, it's like a little. It used to be you go to the movies and there'd be like 4 or 5 movies playing, and you want to see them all. Now it's like I'm scrolling and I see Jaws. I'm like, oh, that catches my eye. And it's like that shouldn't be that way.
No, no, there should be something new that you're like, this is, I'm excited about this. And then, well, I know that you're excited about, I know what you did last summer because you loved the first one so much.
I rewatched that piece of shit this year to see if I still thought it was bad.
It's so good. I can't believe you hate it.
I really hate the original. Every time I watch it, I can't ever look past the fact that everything that movie in Scary Movie takes from that movie. Everything that it takes is it just ruins. I know what you did last summer for me. Everything like the baby dick thing, like all that stuff. I can't watch it and now without thinking about that.
That is fair. That is fair.
I mean,
Um,
Scream even has some moments because of Scary Movie where I'm like, I can hear the line from Scary Movie.
oh yeah, no, they absolutely, I mean, even in when they're doing the talent show and the girl gets killed and she's screaming and yelling and when they run the guy over and then they throw the boot back and hit him in the head with the boot, like it's all I know you did last summer, and it actually kind of works better in Scary Movie.
It does. It's funnier in Scary Movie, in my opinion. I watched The
Um,
Roses, and it was a great comedy. See, that's the kind of review I need. I do want to see The Roses, and that's something actually me and Faith are probably going to go see in the movies together because the original War of the Roses that's based on, directed by Danny DeVito, is fantastic.
good to
So,
know.
and they actually put in the trailer finally. It says from the characters from War of the Roses. So paying tribute where
Oh,
it's true. Oh wow,
there you
it's
go.
8:30. Wow, we're moving slow.
Yeah, we are. I don't know. We had a lot to discuss. Well, my last one before we go, I do just want to comment on two other new movies coming out and get your opinion on them. But before we get to that, I'll finish. My number one most quotable movie was your number three, I believe, Anchorman.
100%. Anchorman is fantastic. How could that not make the list?
I feel like everyone knows Sex Panther and all the just out of that scene alone, everyone walking by yelling what it smells like in the office
Oh my, it
is
smells like
hilarious.
Bigfoot's dick. And then when they're spraying him off, like, and this is worse than when the raccoon got in the copier.
That whole scene, like, and he's like made with real bits of panther in here. Like,
That's how
I'm
you
gonna
know
be
it's good.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It smells like pure gasoline.
They did studies, 60% of the time, it works every time. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, nope.
All
But
the
it did. That's just so funny.
I mean, everything that they say, like, even I get at the beginning, like, when they're talking about, like, years later, they would give me a test and they would say that I am mentally retarded. They're even when I
Yeah,
taught, like, I woke up in a Chinese family's rec room and they would not stop screaming.
even during the big fight that they have, which by the way is ridiculous, when Steve Carell's character Brick is just running around with a grenade in his hand, screaming, like that's hilarious. He throws a trident at someone. Like that's the other quote too. When they're back at the office, it's like that escalated quickly.
Yeah,
Like,
Bert killed the guy.
yeah, Brick. I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
I mean, you might want to think about hanging low because you're probably wanted for murder. But
Yeah.
even the little running like quotes, like, right? Me and you, we both watched our fair share of porn. Oh no, of course not, Sister Mary Margaret. What was I saying?
Yeah, everything with his son. He's like, just put the crossbow down and let the marching band go. We'll play it off as a prank. And then, of course, the running joke where he'll read the teleprompter and like, I'm Veronica Corningstone. Tits McGee is on vacation. And then he's like, and I'm Tits McGee. I'm Ron Burgundy.
I mean, the classic one right at the beginning. We're on. I don't believe you. As he lights a cigarette.
Oh yeah, and then everything with his dog and Jack Black. He's like, well, "You just destroyed what I love. What do you love?" Well, I love smooth jazz.
I love poetry.
Oh, and there's my dog Baxter. He's like, "Oh, you love your dog?" And punts him off the bridge.
Well, this is happening. The bad man punted Baxter. I don't understand not a one word you were saying.
Yeah, I feel like that's one too. Like I, mentioned Mean Girls and Shaun of the Dead and all those. It's from that time period when Anchorman came out. It's all anybody was talking about.
100%. And yeah, Christian, it did. That was my number 2. So number 2. So now I think we're up to our number ones, and yours was Anchorman, and my number 1 was your number 4. I think Pulp Fiction.
Yes, sir. That's my number 4.
Yeah, this is one that it's filled with quotable lines. The way these people speak, like Royale with cheese, Big Kahuna burgers, that Hawaiian joint, my girl, she's a vegetarian, which kind of makes me a vegetarian myself. So, but
That
that
whole
is
scene.
one tasty burger.
Actually, funny with the diner scene when he's like, "You're gonna give me my wallet." Like, well, which one's yours? Like the one that says "bad motherfucker" on it.
And then, of
My
course,
friend John has that wallet.
Matt had that wallet actually when we were kids. He had the bad motherfucker wallet.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I just was a little upset because it didn't feel leathery. That's why I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, fake leather.
Yeah, it really felt cheap. I was like, I'd get a real bad motherfucker wallet if it was in good quality.
Yeah, but I agree. I always think about when they're driving in the car with the guy in the back seat, and John Travolta has the gun aimed at him, and they hit a bump, and he shoots him. He's like, "Oh, I shot him." It's like, "What
Shot
the
Marvin in
fuck?
the
You do
face.
that?"
I didn't mean to. It just went off. I think you hit a bump or something. I didn't hit no bump.
It's fucking hilarious.
I mean, every segment has like very memorable quotes, like whose bike is this? Zed's bike. Where's Zed? Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. You feel that? That's your pride hitting you.
Oh my god! And that's with the watch, right? The
Yeah,
watch for Bruce Willis.
he hit it in the only place he knew where to hit it, his ass.
And then when he gave it to me before he died, I hit it in my hand.
And now he's got that watch, and that watch means so much to him. And the girl, one fucking thing, pick up the watch off the kangaroo, and she can't do it.
Nope,
And
she
how many
blew it.
times is that the most like relatable thing? You don't want to get mad at your girl. Ah, it's fine. And then you get in the car just fucking cursing her to death.
You're like, God damn it, one thing.
One fucking thing. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, Poppin' Fresh is here, buddy. Thank you so much for the donation, buddy. Really appreciate it. Did you guys pick Here's Johnny? Also, thanks for the Lahain recommendation. Animation, film, and music. Watching bonus features next. Oh, I'm so glad you caught up to that. It's such a great movie, great black and white film. And thanks again, buddy, for the donation. We appreciate that.
Yeah, as always, thank you. And no, we actually did not put The Shining on here, but
That's a very quotable movie too. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of lines we could have picked.
yeah, no, but that's a good call too. We can add that one little asterisk at the bottom when we post it. Oh, we did talk about it.
Yeah, when you come in here and you hear me typing, and then you start talking. Just a
Uh,
beautiful relationship. A lot of love in that marriage. A lot of
oh
love.
yeah, 100%. No hatred. Very, very friendly relationship they have.
I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna bash your fucking brains in.
Oh, good. But yeah, I think that was your one, right? Pulp Fiction, and I think that does it for most quotable movies, right?
Yep, and now we can move into this question because we took a little bit of time, which is why we try and like spread the questions out, and that's why like if you guys send in these questions, yeah, right here we'll give you a little previews. We're gonna get to it in future weeks because we like to like give time to these questions. Like we don't want to like rush through them and you know what's it called? Like not give them the proper time. If you ask us a question, we want to like give it the love it deserves.
Yeah, 100%. Unfortunately, we might have to cook through this one a little bit. So,
Yeah, we're gonna
14
have
films on here.
yeah 14, but like it's 14 films that we both we'll punt around. We'll manage it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
brother,
will
bro, out
say,
there, that was good. Van Gogh, I like that. That's a very quotable one as well. That's a mighty fine singing and dancing.
oh, I don't even need to watch the movies. I just ask you to quote them. It's like I'm there.
Right?
Since it's 14, this was a really good list, actually.
I'm
All
gonna
of these
piss you
films are
off
really
so
good.
much at 14. I know it.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm not gonna get that mad about it. But I will say a lot of these are ranked based on how much I go back to them. None of these movies are bad, in my opinion. I think John can agree. I don't think any of these are terrible.
No, that's what made this very hard. Actually, it's like my number 14 is my number 14, and I will rewatch it every couple of years. So that
Yeah.
speaks to the volume of the list.
Yeah, so this is a really good list. So this is in no way like ranking it as in, numbers 10 through 14 are bad. They are all really, really good movies. It's just the only way that I could approach this was how frequently do I go back and rewatch it?
Yep, and that's I mean, obviously there's some all-timers on this list. So yeah, we kind of had to do it that way. So what's your number 14?
My number 14, I put The Warriors.
Yeah, so that's already a punt.
Okay, what's your 14? Probably a
Gangs
punt.
of Gangs of New York.
Gigantic punt.
Yeah, that was the one I thought I might upset you.
No, listen, I get it. When it comes to period pieces, I don't expect people to love them just because it's considered like such a good movie. Because sometimes it's not,
That's
it's
not
not
why
everyone's
I don't
cup of
like the
tea.
movie. We'll talk about why I don't like Gangs of New York as much. There's two
Okay.
reasons.
Okay. So my 13 is actually only this low because of what my number one is, and that's Menace to Society.
That's a punt.
Okay, what's your 13?
American Gangster.
Slight punt to 12, so we can, that's where we are now. So my 12 was American Gangster.
Yeah, this is just one like I think you talked about the rewatchability. This one I feel like also should be better than it actually is based on the people involved. Like it's directed by Ridley Scott, stars Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe. I like the fact that this isn't one of the greatest movies ever. I think is just I don't know. That's why I put it so low. I'm like I feel like it's fine, but it should be way better.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I had it at 12 too, because it's one of those things where I love Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe, love them both. I every almost everything they're in, I think is great. Denzel especially, I feel like he almost can't miss. I think he's great in everything he does. But this one, for some reason, again, not a bad movie. There's something about it that just is kind of mid. Like it's just okay. It doesn't do anything that makes me hate it, but it also doesn't have anything in it that makes it stand out as one of the greatest of all time. It's just kind of like,
Yeah,
it's all right.
exactly. It's like one of those movies like you get the huge hype around, and you're like, "Oh, it was all right," and it should have just been better.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. So my number 12 is Carlito's Way.
Slight punt.
He said, okay, so David gave us his top three. So let's see if they'll add up with mine and yours. Yeah, a little different, buddy.
One of them does.
One of those did make my top three also.
All
Uh,
right.
so
So
I said,
you said
I,
Carlito's Way, right?
yep.
All right, so that's a slight punt. So we're up to my 11,
Hmm.
which is it killed me to put it this low because I actually rewatch this so often, but I felt like there's just too many classics on the list, and that's The Town.
Okay, so that's a punt from me.
Okay, so what's your 11?
My 11 is actually a punt from you from a few minutes ago. That's Menace to Society.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, that was my 13 and your 11. So we're in ballpark.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like Menace to Society a lot. It's got a great 4K release, but when it comes to like those era of films, like if you were to compare that to Juice and Boys in the Hood, I'd say like this is like number three on that one, where I don't really run back and rewatch it as much. I think it has a great opening and a great ending. It's just that the stuff in between, like it doesn't always 100% work for me.
Yeah, that's why I had it lower too. Is I mentioned because of the other one on this list, Boys in the Hood. It's very high on my list. So, and that's the one. If you put those two in front of me and said, "What are you watching?" 10
Yeah.
times out of 10, I'm picking Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, same with me. Boys in the Hood, if you were to compare them, like I think Boys in the Hood's a stone cold classic. So we'll see that a little bit higher. But I mean, like putting Medicine Society 11, it's again not speaking bad about the film. It's just, when you match them up, it's like that's where it falls.
Yeah, I mean that's like pretty much all these. Menace to Society and even The Warriors was my 14. That doesn't mean I didn't like it when I watched it. I'll go back to that for sure. It's just there's some others on here that I go back to more often, or that are just more in that high level classic range.
Yeah, 100%. And I understand that.
So that brings me to my 10, which is a punt from you from earlier, Carlito's Way.
Okay, so yeah, this is like we're very close on that one. Slight pun. Yeah, Carlito's Way is good. You bring in Brian De Palma again, bring in Al Pacino again, put it in the 90s, and I think it's about a gangster trying the classic tale, gangster trying to escape that lifestyle, but he just can't.
Yeah, and I think it's done. It helps that it's got the star power in it. And I think that that's why I had to put it just slightly above some of these films. It just I don't know, it's something that I will go back to, and something that I enjoyed while I was watching. Again, this was a very, very tough list to put together, with the exception of like my top three, basically.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. It's very tough. A lot of classics in here. A lot of movies that, especially that are some of my favorites. That's what makes always these lists very tough. Like to have it like low like this, it's still a great movie. Carlos Way also has two 4Ks, so make sure you guys get that Arrow 4K.
There you go. So what was your 10?
My 10, I think it'll be a punt. The Departed.
That is a punt.
Okay, all right. What's your number 9?
9, I don't know if it's gonna be a punt or not. It's Miller's Crossing.
That is a punt. Not a big
Okay.
punt, but it is a punt.
All right. So you're 9.
The Untouchables.
Punt to 8, so we can talk about it because that's my 8 right now.
Oh, all right. The Untouchables is, a classic of the genre. Stars Kevin Costner. What was why am I Sean Connery? Kevin's like this is like the start of his big comeback. Just a great movie about like beating Al Capone, played by Robert De Niro.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just one of those. It's funny how many of these have crossover well, not crossover characters, literally, but the same actors and the same crews involved in them. Because I mean, that's just kind of what they did, and some of them stand out. This is one that stood out for sure for me. That's why I had to put it a little bit higher. Um, Again, just a good film, nice, solid movie. If you're ever sitting there not sure what you want to watch and you throw this on, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, and you've seen the stair sequence towards the end. Like, there's been so many of them, but this one specifically has been spoofed so many times in the train station. And, Elliot Ness, we're going to do some good. Like, all that stuff in this movie is just ridiculous. But I still really love it. It's a very good movie. That's why I have it at number 9.
Yeah, and that was my 8. So what do you have at 8?
8, I got Scarface.
That is a punt.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people would probably have that higher than me, but I just rewatched it, and that's where I put it. So what's your number 7?
7 is Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, that's a punt.
All right, so what do you have?
Mine is a punt from you from earlier, and that's Miller's Crossing.
Okay, so a little bit, only 2 spots up.
Yeah, this is a very good Coen Brothers gangster film. Came out in the 90s, takes place in, I want to say, like the 30s or 40s. I think it's the 30s. So it's like trying to play with like those gangster film tropes of the times and the way that they're talking, like fancy pants, all you. I just love that.
Yeah, I think that's why I had it a little lower. Um, is that it's kind of time periody, and again, I have another one that's a time period film that's a little higher than this that I like more. So again, that's the only reason I had it a little bit lower than this. But it's a good. I feel like a broken record here, but these are all really good movies. It's gonna come down to personal preference and how much you go back to it. I just don't really go back to this one as much as the others.
Oh, and that's fair. And I completely understand that. I go back to it a good amount. That's why I have it this high. And that's the way she goes sometimes, buddy. What's number
That's it.
6 for you?
My number 6, I have a feeling is going to be a punt from you. We talked about it before. Casino.
Yeah, that's a punt.
All right, what do you got for 6?
For number 6, I have The Warriors, which was your number 14.
Wow, this is a big split for us.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of The Warriors, actually. And when the Arrow 4K came out a couple of years ago, rewatched it. I'm like, yeah, it's such an original film. Like, I mean, there's been other movies like it, but just the idea that you just have to get back to your home base and like there's all these other gangs in New York standing between you. They all got their different clothes on. I get that, people can look at that and be like, that's so cheesy. Why are they dressed up like baseball players? But it's scary, like the tension of like trying to get to the subway. And we're from New York, so like seeing the old New York City in the 1970s, like I always think that's really cool. It's always a great setting. Ended on the beach, like in Coney Island. Like I love all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. I like how it was shot and everything. It was very cool for us to kind of be able to see the city in that light because obviously we weren't around during that time. And you're right, it is an original premise. I think that it is cool. I just think that it almost kind of falls out of gangster movie to me.
That's kind of
And
true. I mean, they're gangs, but they're also but they're like kind of almost like what would become like street gangs. Like they're a little like in that general area, not like the high level mafia gangsters.
yeah, and that's kind of why I put it lower because to me it's almost not like an apocalyptic kind of thing, but it's more like fall of society, so people get together to stay safe kind of thing. So I get it's a gang, but that's why it's a little lower on the list for me because it's almost more of a survival movie to me than a gangster movie.
No, 100. Yeah, that is it is about surviving the night and getting home. It's 100% what it is, and all these obstacles in between you getting there.
Yeah, but still great movie. Very much enjoyed my time with it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I could see why we were a little bit off on that one. So that was your
That was
number
your number 6, I
6.
think,
So
right?
we're up to. So we made it to the top 5.
All right, so my 5 is the big split from before, and that is Gangs of New York.
Oh wow! Honestly, I thought this would be number 1. Did this not used to be one of your favorite films?
It's still up there, but the 3 above it, I one of them I appreciate as a classic, and the other 2 I like more than it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. That's a surprise. Honest to God, I would have just assumed that this would have been like your number 1. But hey, I appreciate that.
I mean, for starters, I love Daniel Day-Lewis in it. I think his character, the Butcher, is unbelievable.
Yeah, I did a review here on the channel. I said his name wrong the entire review. I always say either I can never remember if it's Bill or Bob the Butcher.
It's Bill Bob.
It's Billy
Bill
Bob the
Bob the
Butcher.
Butcher. That's it. So you were right every time.
Yeah, but he's the I mean, he's the best performance in the movie by far. Honestly, you go see the movie for him, and that's the only for me, that and the opening sequence are the only reason you go see the movie.
I think also I enjoy it because I do like historical stuff, and it's interesting to see. Like you mentioned, how the Warriors was cool to see, like New York in that way. To see New York in this way is crazy, and to see all the stuff, and it's hilarious because so much of it is accurate. Like when there's the fire, and the fire department shows up, and they start fighting each other, not even putting the fire out. Like that's all real. Like they used to do that.
Yeah, no, that I found all that stuff very interesting. The political aspect, like how he literally just kills the voted senator, and he's like, "Can he do that?" And it's like, are you gonna stop him? Like, like
Yeah.
that's the thing, because that's always something I always think about. Like back in the day, you could just do things like that. It was a lot harder to answer for. So I liked that aspect of like trying to become a normal society. I enjoyed that. The things that really dragged this movie down are Leonardo DiCaprio and Cameron Diaz for me.
Yeah, they're definitely not the best part of it. It also does run pretty long. It's and that kind of is a knock in my opinion. Um, but I do think that their arc is not like I don't find myself really caring. But it's almost a 3-hour movie, which also really hinders it in terms of going back to it that frequently because that is a long ass movie.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like, I love, like, I don't mind ever sitting through 3 hour movies. Like I said, I watched a 3 hour movie last night, but you really have to have the time available, and then that kills pretty much rewatchability. Like, because how often can you run back to a 3 hour movie?
Yeah, so that this one's up here primarily for Daniel Day Lewis's performance as Bill. I think it's Bill the Butcher. And his whole presence and the historical setting of New York in that time period and everything is really, really nice. They could have cut easily 45 minutes out of anything that Leonardo DiCaprio and Cameron Diaz were doing.
Yeah, I just think Leo was too young. I don't think he had the chops yet. And Cameron Diaz, like, I just don't think this is in her wheelhouse.
No, but aside from that, I really enjoy the movie for the historical setting alone. And again, Daniel Day Lewis's performance is incredible.
I mean, the production design is beautiful. I'll never take any. That's why when it does come to 4K, that's a day one purchase because I mean, the opening sequence alone with Liam Neeson is in the snow. I love it.
Yeah. So that was my five. What starts off your top five?
I got The Town.
Wow. All right. I'm happy it's this high. Part of me didn't put it this high because I was unsure of how it's received in the world.
I think it's received. I think it's received very well. I would say it's probably up there with some of the best bank robbery films of all time. I mean, it took a lot from Heat, but it stands on its own, especially like the characters in the movie and caring about these characters from the reason why it's called The Town, from Southie Boston, like, the tight unit that they are and almost like the inescapability of it.
Yeah, I love this movie. Like I said, I only had it lower on this because I wasn't sure if it was really in that kind of classic range. And there's a lot of one, that I've picked since I put the town on my list, that I think are more, Reservoir Dogs, all that stuff that are better than it. But I go back to the town all the time just because I think it's one of those like it's easy to watch. It's very
Mhm.
entertaining throughout. There's really not a lot of low points in it, or you never find yourself hoping that a scene ends, because it really just moves through the action.
And it makes you care about these guys who are like, like because you feel bad, you feel sympathy for like the situations that they unfortunately were placed in. And Ben Affleck's character, getting with essentially the person he robs in the beginning, like dealing with that entire thing. John Hamm, the FBI agent, all that stuff works so well, building tension throughout. And then the ending, robbing Fenway Park, like that's so cool and original.
Yeah, and the way they pull it off, like how elaborate they all are and everything, it really it's so interesting. And it's one of those things like, they do steal from a lot of other stuff, but they do it in their own way that it feels original. It's unique enough that you're not watching it going, "Oh wow, look at this. They stole that. They stole this." If you break it down, you can find it, but you don't sit there watching it, picking it apart. You sit there wondering how they're going to get out of this. And obviously, I think the ending is great. I think the ending that they pull off in it too is perfect because it's not the Hollywood happy ending. It's a little bit of a sad ending because he, spoiler alert, doesn't really end up with the girl he wanted to end up with.
No, and that's the realistic ending. It could never work. Like he wants it to work, but he's gone too far in his life, and he has to pay for those sins, regardless if he doesn't go to jail or not.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I'm happy it's this high for you because I love this movie a lot.
Me too. I mean, it's one of my favorites of the recent. Like Ben Affleck for me, like he's a great director. And I've always actually enjoyed his work when he's an actor as well. So I'm not one of those Ben Affleck haters, that's for sure.
No, I agree. But I like that it's there. So my four is a punt from you earlier that I was very surprised about. I put Scarface.
Yeah, believe it or not, I love Scarface. But I never have ever like put it up. Like a lot of people would say, like when it comes to gangster films, I think they put like Goodfellas, Godfather, and Scarface in the same conversation. And I've always liked Scarface, but I've never actually put it that high.
Interesting. I put it up here. I mean, because like you said, it is one of those classics. I feel like you said, if you mention gangster movies to anyone, they're gonna mention this one. So it has to be up high. And while it's not my favorite of all time, I do respect the performances. The story is obviously very interesting. Um, I think it's a very well done movie, and obviously it's in that classic echelon where people know it, they quote it, they've seen it. It's up there. So that's the only reason I put it at four. Is really just the respect that's on its name.
Yeah, I mean, this has had a huge influence on like hip hop culture. Like people like absolutely would take quotes from this movie. Like Faith was telling me, like there's lines like right out of it, like in just Jay-Z songs and stuff like that, just because of how popular this movie is and influential it is. And it's funny because it's a Brian De Palma movie starring Al Pacino. You wouldn't think like a movie like that could work in this vein, especially in the early '80s, but it's an all timer for a reason because it's relatable in the sense that it's human greed. This guy came from nothing and he could have stopped, like a lot like Breaking Bad. Like you went far, like you could have just stopped and had a great life, but they don't know how to stop.
Yep, it's once you get a taste, you can't stop, and that's what the story is all about. He was living this unbelievably lavish life that was completely unnecessary. He had gone so far beyond what he actually needed, and had to pay the price for it. But again, it's one of those ones that it is in the universe, and everyone knows it. Every single person in the world knows Scarface. At the very least, they know "Say Hello to My Little Friend" and all that. They know the mountains of cocaine, and it has to be. That's again number four, simply because gotta respect it. It's like you're talking about Undertaker in wrestling. He might not be your favorite wrestler. He might not be the best in the ring. You gotta put him pretty high up, just out of respect.
Yeah, exactly. And I respect Scarface. I really do. Where did I have it on the list? I had it at number 8. So that's still high amongst like classic films. So it's not like I'm disrespecting it. It's just, I gotta go with my personal taste.
Yeah, man, listen, I appreciate it. So that was four. What do you have at four?
Before I got Boys in the Hood. This is
That
an all-timer for me.
that's a punt.
Oh, all right. So what's your three?
Three is The Departed,
Okay, yeah. What's funny with The Departed? I had it so this for a short period in the 2000s was my favorite Scorsese movie.
but then what happened?
I just, sometimes I cool on things. Like things happen. Like we'll talk about when we do our next Evil Dead original versus remake. I told you, like sometimes things change. And The Departed, like I still love it. I still love Jack Nicholson, Leo, Matt Damon. I think gives his best performance in it. It's a great direction. One of the most shocking death scenes in film history. It's just like if I were to compare it to these other ones and even to other Martin Scorsese movies, I would say that this is probably like the bottom of the top 10.
Wow, all right. Well, this is one like you said. You went with personal preference on this list. That's why The Departed's at three for me because I love Jack Nicholson's performance in this. I think everyone plays their role absolutely perfectly. It has two of the most shocking sequences, in my opinion, at the end of the film. The way that all of their stories intertwine, and you have the good guy who's pretending to be a bad guy to do the right thing, and the bad guy who's pretending to be the good guy doing the wrong thing. Like how all their stories mesh and intertwine, and all of the secrecy and I think it was just done so well. And it's another one of those movies that you turn it on and it's full throttle from start to finish. You care about every character. Every character is interesting, and you're curious. Who's going to get away with what here.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, it is a very I mean, obviously the concept is rats, and they beat that with like a dead horse with a rat in the window at the very end because they're both rats, Leonardo
Yeah.
DiCaprio and Matt Damon. They're both pretending to be people that they're not.
Yep.
One's just on the good side and one's on the bad side, but it's showing you the thin line between good and bad.
Yeah, I mean the things that they both have to do, it really is a razor thin line. The stuff that Leo has to walk away from or be involved in to try to do the right thing, and the stuff that Matt Damon has to do because he's loyal to this man who raised him. It's really is.
He's
It
the
blurs
biggest
that
piece of shit in
line.
the movie to me is Matt Damon. There's no
Oh,
bigger
he
piece.
is
I mean, Jack Nicholson, I could see the argument because like what he ends up being in the movie, but there's nobody who's looking out more for himself than Matt Damon.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
but plays it well. So that's why it had to be 3 for me. What'd you have at 3?
3, I had Casino, which I know is a punt from you from earlier, but this is one that I love. I go back and forth with this in my number 1 as being my favorite Scorsese movie.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So only reason Casino is it was 6 on my list. Same thing, like I said, Menace to Society was low based on another film in this list. Casino was low because of another film that's coming up in my top 2 spot.
Yeah, this is one I quote all the time. Like again, you're bringing back everyone from Goodfellas, so I see the comparison. But you got Sharon Stone in this movie. James Woods gives a ridiculous performance. I mean, just all the stuff he's saying to Ace Rothstein. It's perfect. Vegas looks perfect. There's so much in this movie. A lot of holes in the desert. Got myself in a bad spot here, Frankie. Shouldn't have never got involved with that broad.
Yeah. I'm not surprised it's higher for you. I do know you also have a soft spot for Vegas. So the fact that it's set out there and it is, listen, it's shot beautifully. They really capture like the overall like energy in Vegas. I feel like they captured really well in this movie.
Yeah, that exactly. That's stuff that's gonna speak to me. Like, and right in the opening, when they're like going through all the like different jobs in Vegas and the eye in the sky, like it's gonna scratch some itches for me. And I can and I always go back and forth, and then I'm like, okay, I know which one's better. I just gotta say it, even if I might like Casino sometimes more.
Yeah, but listen, I appreciate you putting it up this high. It's again a good movie, but I put it lower because of what my number 2 movie is.
Which is
Goodfellas.
okay. That's my number 1, so we could talk about that right now.
Okay. So I put this here because personally, I think this is the best mob movie.
100%. Obviously, I put it up there at number 1 too. Yeah, anything involving the mafia, my mind goes right to Goodfellas.
100%. It's done in such a way that it's serious, but it's funny. There's comedic like parts to it. Some of the scenes are hilarious. The dynamic between everyone's great. The storylines that unfold for every character is great. Family Guy did a spoof of it that was hilarious. And everything about it is just so when I think mafia films, I think Goodfellas.
Yeah, the only flaw in this movie, and it's so good you don't even notice it, is that when we cut to 21-year-old Ray Liotta and Joe Pesci, and they are clearly in their 40s and 50s, it's ridiculous. But you don't even think about that.
Yeah, no, you definitely don't have that thought in your mind. But it really, it's just, I don't know. This might honestly be in my top 10, like of all time, any genre.
Oh, it's in my top 10 all time. It gets close to my top 5. This is, I think, the most rewatchable film of all time, and maybe should have even made the top 10 most quotable films because there's so many great quotes in this. Like, what do you? I'm funny. I amuse you. Like, I'm a clown. Like, all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
just anything with Jimmy, like the way he's speaking. You learn to let you a little out of line yourself. You insulted him. You a little out of line yourself.
I love when they're talking about the painting when they're at their mom's house. Like, yeah, it's a guy in a boat with a dog. Yeah, it's great. Look at the dog. It's a good looking dog.
Yeah, one guy goes this way, the other one goes. Yeah, that's just a great scene. Like, what do they call those? The paws, the hoofs. Oh yeah, the hoof.
Yeah, you're right. It absolutely could have been on the quotable one too. That's what. Again, it's got everything. It's got the violence and the criminality of it, but it's got lighthearted kind of jokey moments. It really is just great.
This son of a bitch said that Goodfellas is overrated. You know what?
Listen, I had negative things to say about The Godfather, so I will gladly accept his criticism of Goodfellas. That is okay.
In my mind, if somebody says what is a perfect 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 film, there's not a flaw in it. My mind goes right to Goodfellas because the rising action's perfect, the falling action is perfect. That whole last day of the paranoia, it's captured amazingly. Like you feel like you're on cocaine with Ray Liotta in that movie.
Yeah. No, I agree. When he's like, and the helicopter's following him, and he's like, "I got to switch cars." You feel that tension.
And the line
Um,
is perfect when he says, like, I knew they weren't wise guys because I would already been dead. I would have never heard the guy. And that's so true. And
yep. Yeah. So
that's
that's
the end of The Sopranos right there.
yeah. Yeah. I no, so I agree. I think it's great. David, I appreciate your opinion too, buddy. I get it. It's not for everyone. To each their own.
Yeah. I don't appreciate his opinion. Like I don't appreciate your opinion on the Goodfellas. I mean, on the Godfather. So
Well, I have an open mind because I get that not everyone likes everything. John.
how
Um,
dare you?
So that was my 2 and your 1. So what's
I'll
your
go first.
2?
So my 2 is Reservoir Dogs.
Okay, so I had that at 7. So we
Yeah,
can chit chat.
I love Reservoir Dogs. It's an all-timer for me. Like, it's not my favorite. Like Pulp Fiction was on this list. That would be my favorite of Quentin Tarantino's movies, but Reservoir Dogs is a perfect showpiece for like what he's doing. And you don't even see the heist in this movie. Speaking of gangster films, we know that Joe's a gangster, but we never even see the heist. We just hear about everything that went wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it really interesting, is that it's, a bank robbery, it's a robbery movie that you don't actually see a robbery in. It's just the tension of these guys meeting afterwards and trying to figure out what went wrong and how they, it's almost more a whodunit film than anything, than a gangster film, but it's done so well. I mean, obviously it's done well. Look who's involved in it.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna be all right. With the blood, like in the beginning, like are you a doctor? No, then obviously you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I
Oh
think
man.
that they really do such a great job in this movie of building. But again, you have to look at who's involved in it. It's Tarantino. He's like the king of suspense. He is so great at making those long, drawn out scenes where you feel uncomfortable. There's so much tension in the room. And that's what this is. This whole movie is just that. So I understand why it's so high for you because it really is. You can't go wrong with it.
No, that's why I had to be that. 1 and 2 were easy for me to start with. It was like, where was I going to put Casino? Am I putting it too high, too close to Goodfellas? And I was like, nah, I still love it.
Yeah, my 1 and 2 are easy too. 2 is Goodfellas. My 1 is actually Boys in the Hood.
Oh wow, I'm very surprised at that. Boys in the Hood's an all timer. I mean, I don't fault you at all.
I absolutely love this movie so much. I have rewatched it so many times. This is one that I don't know why. It's done so well. And I mean, if you really break down the story, it's just about like trying to better your life and get to a better level in life and not being able to escape where you're born. Who can relate to that? Wherever you see all these people born into money, born into fame, born into all this stuff because their parents' last name or whatever it is, and you're born into, either lower class, lower middle class, whatever it is. And it feels like no matter how hard you work and how hard you try, you just can't break through that ceiling. And that's really what this is about. And, these guys who all take different paths, one's trying to be an athlete, one has gone straight into the gangster life. The other one's not really sure how to feel. Like it's just done so well and you really care about every character in the movie.
Oh, this has Lawrence Fishburne's best performance that should have won him an Academy Award as as the father. He's amazing in this movie. It's a shame you got overlooked. But yeah, but I mean, you're so right. Like, and that's why when people say we start at the same starting point, that's not true. You're a product of where you're born. We might all be human beings, but come on, the guy who's literally, we talk about Nepo babies all the time. People get businesses just handed to them. Like other people born in the families that have nothing. And you got to like try and figure like this kid got a break. He was going to be a professional athlete and he gets killed for the stupidest reason.
Yeah, he didn't even do anything because what? He got bumped into at a party. Now
Mm-hmm.
he's dead. Like just the dumbest stuff like that. And that's really what it's about. And I think it does it so well. It really is just it's such a good movie. The story's great, the acting is great, the plot, everything through and through. You care about everything from start to finish. You have the journey from when they're really young, innocent kids, and then you get to see when they grow up. Where are they now? I guess they're technically high school, I think, age, but they're on the verge of adulthood, and you can see what paths they're on, and it's just, I don't know. It's absolutely my favorite on this list by far.
No, that's a great choice. I love that it made your list. And as for thanks, Dennis. I like Goodfellas. It's a great flick. I just have trouble putting it on the best all the time. I much prefer Casino from Scorsese, but I think The Godfather is epic and love Scarface is what he says next. I mean, that's
Yes.
fair.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, that's why I said I appreciate your feedback on it because it is personal opinions. Because I do understand that if I were to honestly look at Casino, Goodfellas, and Godfather, I can tell you that to me, Goodfellas is the one that's like mafia light. It's almost more Hollywoody kind of like you've mentioned montages and stuff. It's definitely one that's a little bit more lighthearted and not so in depth about like the historical rise of all that kind of stuff. Like Casino is very serious about how they're infiltrating Vegas, and Godfather obviously is super serious about becoming the actual boss of the mafia and all that. So like those are more serious cinema movies, where Goodfellas to me, I guess, of the three is the more Hollywood polished, fun. It's almost like we talk about Terminator and Terminator 2. Terminator is much more an art piece. Terminator 2 was, here's the Hollywood budget. It's got one-liners, it's got comedy, it's made for general consumption. I think that's the difference. You have Godfather, that's more the art piece. Goodfellas is more the general consumption, which is probably why Goodfellas ranks so high for a lot of people, because it's just an easier watch. You
It
don't
is.
have to really sit there and kind of grind through it.
That's what I mean about like it being like the most rewatchable film. Like it's you're just never bored. Like the movies, it's an epic in a sense. Like we another one where you start where he's a kid and we see it through literally till the end of his time in the mafia. The whole movie's moving fast, almost like a cocaine induced movie. Like this guy's on coke, but it's all fun. It's so much fun watching like everything these guys are doing, and then it's all got to come crashing down. And I understand why people don't like the third act because but that's you need that. You need to see that the crime doesn't pay, so you have to see him getting his comeuppance.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the thing too in all of them. In every single mafia movie, it worked really well for the old world guys, but the new world guys now have to deal with the FBI and wiretaps and all this crazy stuff that just make the life not really what it was. And I mean that's really a societal thing. Life isn't what it was 50 years ago. Things change, ideas change. The amount of money you make, the jobs, the everything, society changes, and that's really what it's exploring. But I can appreciate that, it's again not for everyone, because you have the more nitty-gritty, realistic Godfather and the Hollywood flash Goodfellas. So I think you'll have a divide there. I just personally lean a little bit more towards the easy watch than the like gritty Godfather. That's all.
That's fair enough. I could support that. So
Yeah,
that was the end of that question. I'm assuming you got to get out of here, though, right?
I do. Unfortunately, long holiday weekend. Got a lot to catch up on with work now. But before I do, I had two questions for you about just excitement about new movies coming out.
Okay.
Strangers Chapter 2 and Black Phone 2.
More excited for Black Phone 2 than I am for Strangers 2.
Okay. All right. I heard one guy review his thoughts on the trailer and the premise of Black Phone 2, and he seems to think it's going to be the modern day Freddy Krueger.
Well, it looks like it's going to be supernatural, so I'm very curious to see how they do that. But don't forget that this is Scott Derrickson again, and it's with Ethan Hawke, and he did make Sinners, and then he made Sinners 2.
Okay.
So
You mean Sinister?
Sinister. What I said Sinners? I meant
You said
Sinister.
Sin.
Yeah, I meant Sinister 1 and 2. So he made them
Yeah.
both, and we both know the quality dip once we got to Sinister 2. Now I like Black Phone a lot, so I'm curious to see how they do Black Phone 2.
Yeah, I'm excited. And as you mentioned it with Jurassic Park, how every year when they come out with one, you have to go watch even though you're disappointed.
Yeah,
That's how I feel about The Strangers. I love, love, love The Strangers, and I will watch every single one of them that comes out. I am worried.
I think of you with two franchises that you like this and the Jeepers Creepers films, and both of them have just let you down.
Yeah, both of them. The first two were fine. I like Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2, and I like Strangers, and I like Strangers Pray at Night. Everything since then, not a fan.
I really love Strangers Pray at Night. I don't understand the hate for that movie. I think about that one like we did a video on that last year, which it's not technically an original versus remake, but original and a sequel. I really think Pray at Night gets a bad rap.
I do too. I think if you rewatch it, I think the problem with The Strangers is that when you have a film that's as unique and terrifying as the first Strangers was, how do you follow that up? If you just redo the whole story again, which we saw them do
That
with
doesn't work.
Chapter 1, people hated it. So you have to make it unique. They made it an homage to 80s slashers, which is awesome. If it's like you said about Friday the 13th with what was is it Jason Lives where he's not Jason's not in it?
A New Beginning is where he's not in it, but it's still a
Okay.
guy in a mask.
Yeah, it's like you said, people hate A New Beginning because they're like, Jason's not in it. But if you go into it and actually just appreciate the storyline in it, it's a really good Friday the 13th movie. Same thing with
Exactly.
Season of the Witch. If you go in understanding it's not Michael Myers, it's a good movie. That's Pray at Night.
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah. But
100%.
that was all I had for today. So I do have to jump. But guys, thank you as always for the comments, the questions. Looking forward to getting into spooky season, talking
Hmm.
about a lot. And as always, John, thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for being here. And Dennis will be back on next Tuesday's show, and Dennis will be on our Thursday video that we have coming out, original versus remake for Roadhouse. So, Dennis will be around here. So make sure you guys come back every Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. where we do this show.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Later. All right, guys, we have to do our digital code and channel members giveaway right now. So we're going to add the magic wheel to the screen. Let's see. What do we do? Share screen. We'll add this wheel first, which is the digital codes, and we'll shuffle them up. As you guys know, there's 2 digital codes up for grabs. Let's go back to wherever the hell that is. And I'll show you guys the digital codes too, because I'm sure you do want to see them, right? I would hope you want to see them. I don't know where they are, though. Oh, here they are. Always fun sharing the screen, guys. I know that this is not the most exciting thing. But if you're in the giveaway, you're going to want to see this, right? All right. Slides and PDFs. Let's see. Your computer. See, there's all the fun stuff about here. All right. And now I'll show you guys which digital codes are available to you if you're entered into the giveaway, which not a lot of people are, but here are the codes available to you guys. Make sure you screenshot it. And now we'll go over here. And we'll spin that magic wheel, baby. See who's going to be the winner. Our first winner, because we do have 2 winners, guys. Every single week we try and do the digital code giveaway with donations from people, but we also have our channel members giveaway, which we'll get into in a second. Scotty Guns, my boy Scotty Guns, congratulations. Scotty, we will remove you. Spin again. And the way this works, guys, if you win this digital code giveaway, reach out to me. My email address, letstalkentmt@gmail.com. I do have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, but those are always like harder. Sometimes messages get lost. So letstalkentmt@gmail.com is the best. If you have to use some of the social media stuff, let me know. And them dude 486, congratulations, buddy. Thank you so much. You are the winners. So actually, you guys both have won before, so you know how this works. Going to close that out. And we are going to remove this. And we're going to share the members wheel. All right. So now this is for all of our channel members. So if you are a channel member from the producers or higher, we do this every single month as well. And you get, pull out all my stack of movies. And if you do win this giveaway, you'll have your choice of either like What Lies Beneath on 4K, The Shape of Water on 4K. That's the old edition. Pulp Fiction on 4K. Lego Batman on 4K. The Northman on 4K. Rope, a very underrated Alfred Hitchcock film on 4K. Weird, the Weird Al Yankovic story on 4K. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure on 4K. 2012 on 4K. Color Out of Space. And now The Rings Steelbook, which is perfect for spooky season, on Blu-ray. So if you are a channel member on the producers or higher, so director, bankroll member, we put your name on this magic wheel right here. You'll see it's all shuffled up and everything. And we're going to spin that magic wheel and see who our lucky winner is. If you want to join that, look for all the information on, becoming a channel member. I really appreciate all that support. But as always, guys, you don't got to support it. Does financially. It doesn't matter. We just hope you enjoy all our videos and live streams and all that jazz. So let's spin this wheel and see who our winner is. Could be anyone. Uncle V still hasn't claimed his win from last month. So I actually haven't seen him since. He's a buddy of mine. So I usually see him at our wrestling get-togethers, but he couldn't make it this past Sunday. So we'll get it to him next month. Unless he wins twice. But it looks like it's going to be Mr. Smelly Potato, our channel bankroll member this month. So congratulations, Mr. Smelly Potato. Mr. Smelly Potato, obviously the channel bankroll member. He does so much for the channel, so it's always nice to see him get a win. But all my channel members, thank you guys all so much. John Doe Juggalo, Ben Rondo, Nicholas Head, Harvey Scott. Thank you guys all so much. Frank from Frank's Media Reviews, John Doe Juggalo. These are all great people. I was on Frank's live stream yesterday. Always such a good time to hang out with Frank. I'll be doing a video later on, just like filming with David, aka Shamrock Balls. Looking really forward to that. We got our videos that come out pretty much every other Friday. Our next video, which you saw, Gladiator Part 2. If you haven't, check it out. We're doing Terminator 2 next. That's next Friday. That'll be out. Got some more videos, original versus remake on Thursday. On Friday, I'll rank everything I saw in August. All the channel members can check that stuff out now. But guys, remember, tomorrow we are doing a live stream as well at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's where Let's Talk Physical Media is going to be. The new show that usually comes out on Sundays, that's like 10 to 15 minutes long. It's going to be a live stream now starting at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll go until like 8:15, something like that. That's where we'll discuss all of the physical media news, like everything that's been happening with like Arrow Video. We're also going to talk about the tariffs issues that's going on right now, about parcels and packages being under $800 and getting hit with tariff fees and how that's going to affect physical media. We're going to get all into that tomorrow night, so all the West Coast people can check it out, which is cool. Like, I know like some of them get in here pretty late, which I don't blame them because, it's 4:30 in the morning when the show starts there, but we'll be able to get hopefully everybody. I know the people in Europe, like David, I think it's like 11:45 there, so can't blame David if he doesn't check that show out. But, hopefully this gets everybody who misses these morning shows every week, and we'll check out that night show. So 2 live shows every single week now. Tuesdays at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time and Wednesdays at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you guys all so much for being here with me on another live show. And, thanks to Dennis for being here. He'll be back next Tuesday as well. Thank you guys all for your long running support. I really appreciate it. Love all you guys. See you guys next Tuesday.